On a rainy night, my fiancé left me on the side of the road for his childhood sweetheart. While being soaked to the bone, a passing Jeep pulled up in front of me. A tall, strong man got out of the car and held an umbrella over my head. "What are you doing here in this rain, sweetie?" My eyes landed on his huge pecs before looking at his face. It then burst into tears. He panicked. "Holy crap. Sweetie, don't cry. Tell me what's wrong." The novel is a book. Subscribe to the Romantic Story House is not missed. The full text of a broadcast to the end. Don't forget to press the like. Leave a message. Share. Subscribe. Open the little bell. Wonderful story now begins. What the hell? Is he still human? Sitting in the car, listening to me finish my story. Good Samaritan was so angry that he burst out and slammed his fist on the steering wheel. He's an animal. "Sweetie, don't be mad. Wipe your hair first." He handed me a towel. His movements were careful. His tone was gentle. And he looked different from when he was cursing. Good Samaritan's eyes were full of pain and indignation. "Ouch! Look at how this little girl has been bullied. It's really a disgrace to our men." The more he said, the more aggrieved I was. Tears could not stop falling. The other people think he is too much. But Ethan does not think he did anything wrong. Autumn rainy night. Soaked to the bone. Cold wind blowing. Freezing me shivering. Big brother hurriedly took off his jacket and put it on me, and turned on the heater in the car. "Thank you, big brother." "Sweetie, don't be sad. I'm not a bad person. Where do you live? I'll take you back. Don't catch a cold out there." I gave my address, and my big brother drove me home with a kick of the gas. That night, Ethan left me behind to coax his childhood sweetheart with clinical depression. But it was the kind people who passed by who helped me. Although I made it to the car in time, I couldn't escape the fever the next day. When I was in bed, I heard my mom and Ethan talking outside. I was wrong last night. I came to apologize to Emily. My mom sighed. "It's normal for you young lovers to fight. So coax her." My mom didn't know what happened last night. She just thought it was a small thing. After all, I love him to death. How could I possibly be angry with him? Probably the same as before. Coaxing a few sentences will be fine. Someone pushed the door in. Warm palm over my forehead. I opened my eyes and avoided him with cold eyes. Ethan froze for a moment. Then his face was as normal. His eyes slightly apologetic. "Last night things happened suddenly. You know, Shuya has clinical depression. I can't afford to leave her behind. I can't bear to leave Lily behind. So I can't bear to leave me behind." The bitterness spreading in my throat filled my mouth, and I only felt cold. Lily has always said that she is clinical depression, and has used this incident to snatch Ethan away from me countless times. On dates, during meals, and even at night while sleeping. Whenever she called, he would be there for her, no matter how busy or urgent. He always told me to give way to Lily, saying that he only treats Lily as his sister. Are there any siblings who are so intimate that they sleep in the same bed cuddling? He also said Lily is insecure and needs to be coaxed. Last night Lily called once again, crying and saying she was having a hard time. Ethan was returning and I argued with him over it. He was full of boredom and glanced impatiently at the clock several times, afraid that if he delayed one more second, Lily would do something stupid. "Can you not make it? Sayaka is a patient. She's sick. You're so devoid of compassion. At this moment, I wondered who was more important in his heart, Lily or I, and unsuspectingly threatened him. You can only choose one, Lily or I. And then I was ridiculously left there. I still remember his cold tone before he left. You are too cold-blooded. Reflect on it. The wheels sped away, splashing water all over me, as if setting off fireworks for Lily, the victor, on the side of the road at night, in the middle of nowhere. He wasn't afraid that I would be in danger, and he was even more afraid that Lily would hurt herself. If someone hadn't helped me last night, I don't know what would have happened to me if he was guilty. Why didn't he call me after such a long time last night? Why didn't he come to me? He preferred to come now. So I guess he stayed with Lily the whole night. Didn't he? The scaly heart aches until it goes numb. Until it goes down. 17 to 25. I have to admit that the person I loved for an entire youth has long been rotten from the inside out. I would never be his first choice. And as long as Lily was around, the scales in his heart would only tip in her favor. I looked at him calmly to the point of indifference and spoke slowly. Ethan, I don't want to marry you anymore. Let's break up. I will explain this matter to both parents. My tone was too calm. So calm that Ethan's expression crumbled for a moment. He frowned and tucked the blanket familiarly. You're in a rage right now. Don't say something stupid like that you'll regret. He leaned over and dropped a kiss on my forehead. Extremely gentle. So gentle that my nose flared. The cruelest thing of all. I don't want to love this despicable man. Yet I always see in him what I saw when I loved him the most, making even cutting away a form of torture. Get well. It'll be with you. During the few days of recuperating at home, Ethan would come to my house every day to see me. He bought me my favorite pastries and waited on me meticulously while I ate my meals and took my medicine. My parents originally didn't agree with us being together, saying that Ethan's heart was unstable, but I can't help but like it. Throwing a tantrum still let them loose. Now that I see Ethan is so considerate, my heart has completely changed towards him, and my attitude towards him has also changed a lot. Ethan guarded my bedside, whispered, "Wedding planner has found a good. No accident. The end of the year we'll be able to organize the wedding." He held my hand and said in a deep voice, "The wedding will be decorated in the style you like. And the customized wedding dress will arrive soon. So we will try it on when you get well." Probably God gave me a chance to reconsider. That's why it took me so long to heal from this illness. I was silent as I pulled my hand out of his palm, meeting his stunned eyes. I asked him, "What about Lily if we get married?" Lily is a childhood friend of Ethan's who grew up together. They've been together since they were young. And Ethan pampers her as his own sister, giving her whatever she wants, always putting her first in everything, as if being nice to her has become an instinctive reaction. Of course, the expression sister is just Ethan's own words. To his friends around him, the two were made for each other, and sooner or later they had to be together. So when Ethan dragged me to introduce me to his friends and said I was his girlfriend, all of them had different expressions. The only one who wasn't happy, especially Lily, with a pale face and a forced smile. She raised her glass with tears in her eyes and congratulated. I wish brothers Sheening and sister-in-law a long life together. That night Lily drank so much wine that she couldn't be stopped, and Ethan's frown never loosened. His attention was always on Lily, and I didn't know anyone here except Ethan. It was as if I was excluded by the small group, and I was so embarrassed that I could only look at my cell phone. Lily was so drunk and crying that she wouldn't let anyone but Ethan touch her. In the end, Ethan left me behind and told me to take a cab home while he drove Lily. Before Ethan left, his face looked terrible. He could not control his temper whenever it was about Lily. Helplessly and annoyingly, he explained to me, "I've said she's just my sister. We don't have anything. Can you stop thinking of others as so nasty? Is it me who is nasty, or do they have a ghost in their heart?" In fact, everyone knew, but I couldn't say anything. And when I did, it became my fault. Ethan didn't come to see me again after he left, and I got better. My friend's charity organization recently had its official opening. Just in time, standing in front of the orphanage, Lucy took my hand and pointed at the star-studded man in front of her, telling me, "That's our sponsor. He's generous. He knows that we're a charity organization." And he gave us $30 million with a big wave of his hand. The man was tall and strong and stood out in the crowd. At first glance, I recognized him as Good Samaritan, who had sent me home that night. In the next second, he turned his head and locked eyes with me, and surprise appeared on his face as he took a big step towards me. "Aren't you the sweetie who was crying on the side of the road all night?" Lucy froze for a moment, her face suddenly changing. "What crying on the side of the road at night?" The man patted his mouth. "See what I'm saying, sweetie, don't you mind? I didn't mean to expose your scars." I laughed at his amusement. "It's okay. It's also thanks to you I was able to get home safely." He waved his hand boldly. "It's not polite to say this to my brother," he said. The verbal thanks were too perfunctory. But after some thought, I said, "Why don't I treat you to dinner?" He shook his head. "No, I don't do good deeds for the sake of that meal. I can see that as a warm-hearted big brother, and send me home, and to public welfare organizations to donate money. Looks also all righteous. By the way, sweetie, what's your name?" "Emily." "Nice name." "I'm Ryan." He bent down again and whispered to me, "Did you go back and break up with that scumbag?" My smile was slightly bitter at the mention of Ethan. "I'm ready to break off the engagement." "I'm ready to break off the engagement." "That's good. I'm telling you, where we come from, a man who doesn't care for his wife will be struck down by heaven and lightning." Lucy, who didn't know anything, was kept in the dark. When she heard that I was going to break off the engagement, her eyes widened. "What? You want to break off the engagement with Ethan?" Instead of urging me to consider it, she slapped her thighs and her eyes glowed. "Good job. You should have backed off a long time ago. If you didn't like him so much, I would have advised you to break up with him and Lily. People can't be taught by people, but they can be taught by people." Knowing that Lucy made a public welfare, Ethan also donated $1 million. He is not short of money. This amount is nothing to him. Even Lily donated $200,000. Ethan took this point to talk to me. "I told you that Xiao's heart is not bad. The misunderstanding between you two is too deep. Find a chance to talk it out." In his eyes, if we get married in the future, we can't break the contact with Lily. And we even have to get along well. "What? Let him have his cake and eat it too?" Lucy cried when she found out about Ethan leaving me on the side of the road that night. She even wanted to return the money Ethan and Lily donated. But I stopped her. "Don't be upset about the money. There are so many children who don't have enough to eat. So when are you going to tell your parents about breaking off the engagement? And will Ethan be okay with that?" Ethan had no fear. He's not worried about me breaking off the engagement. Because he and Lily hadn't been intimate in any way. And using that as an excuse would just make people think I was being unreasonable and making a big deal out of it. This wedding should not end with my fault. Still trying to figure out how to get out of it. Ethan invited his friends over for dinner. And Lily came too. The goal was for Lily and I to clear up our so-called misunderstandings and for me to accept her. Ethan can never live without Lily in his life. He would rather make me aggravated and sad than leave her behind. Mediating our relationship in front of so many people is nothing more than coercion and moral abduction in disguise. When we arrived, Lily was surrounded by many people, red-eyed and wanting to cry. And everyone coaxed her to comfort her. She was the flocked groupie of the clique. And the only girl. Having grown up with Ethan, I was just the odd one out in high school who suddenly stepped in between them. At that time, I really thought Ethan and Lily were just friends. And he rarely even mentioned Lily in front of me. Later on, once I gave Ethan an umbrella, I overheard Lily not knowing what she said to Ethan. They seemed to have an argument, and Lily cried and ran away in the rain. The next day, Ethan agreed to be with me, and I didn't see Lily again for a long time after that. Until news of Lily's clinical depression broke. Although Ethan's friends were polite to me on the surface, in private, they blamed me for Lily's clinical depression. In their eyes, I was the third party that interfered with Ethan and Lily. Don't worry, Xiaoya. She won't dare to give you a hard time with us. Ethan, you're really taking Emily too seriously. Aren't you? Why is she still late for her apology? Can't you see how upset Sayaka is? Do you have to be with Emily? What's so great about her? I pushed my way in when they were at their peak. There was a sudden silence inside. Everyone had a wonderful expression on their faces, which was then masked by faint disgust. They habitually ignored me, pretending to offer Lily tea and water and tissues as a way to show that Lily and I were different and that I could never be accepted by them. I smiled. What? Are you guys trying to interrogate me with this stance? Ethan pulled me to sit next to him. Emily, can you stop talking like that? You didn't used to be like this. When he said this, he subconsciously glanced at Lily. And when he saw that she was about to cry, his heart clenched hard, and he looked at me with a reproachful look in his eyes, like I was being unreasonable. Completely forgetting that he once said he would tolerate everything about me. Now it was only a yin and yang sentence. He began to blame me on behalf of his childhood sweetheart. That being said, he's really no different than anyone else here. In his heart, he never saw me as part of their little group. The good thing was, I didn't care. Lily forced a smile, sniffled, raised the juice in her hand and said to me, Sister Emily, I was unintelligent in the past. I disturbed you guys too much. It's my fault. I apologize to you. I hope you can forgive me. The little girl looked at me with a sad gaze and a hint of stubbornness. It was obvious that she was not convinced. I didn't get up and looked straight at her. Lily, is your clinical depression real? As soon as the words left her mouth, Ethan violently yanked on my hand with an angry expression, as if he wanted to kill me. Emily. Lily's expression shattered and her face paled as she covered her face and cried. Emily, sis. How could you say such a thing? Everyone was accusing me. Emily. Are you talking like a human being? Who would joke about such a thing? It just so happened that my friend worked at the hospital where Lily was a patient, also in the psychiatric department, but never had Lily as a patient. It's not that I didn't tell Ethan. He didn't believe me. After all, Lily was really in the ICU for suicide. I watched the chaos without changing my face. Ethan resented my cold-blooded look. His eyes were full of disappointment. You didn't used to be like this. You didn't used to be like this either. I laughed. Have you forgotten how you promised my parents? It's only been an engagement for a short time and you're helping outsiders bully me along. Ethan, that's very nice of you. His face changed and changed. His friends shouted disgruntled insults and forced him to show some attitude. Ethan gritted his teeth and finally sided with Lily. Emily, apologize to Sayaka. His voice was soft, like he was coaxing me, cajoling me to bow down to another person he wasn't clear and ambiguous with. I soured the tip of my nose. Suddenly I realized that I never seemed to see him for what he really was. It could also be said that I thought too much of him. So after the disappointment saved enough, I see his true colors. Everyone likes a man who is responsible and caring. But if these good qualities are distributed to other people without stint, that's people pleaser. Without saying a word, I picked up the drink on the table and threw it in Ethan's face. There were gasps from the crowd. Ethan's face went completely black, and the last of my kindness was gone. Emily, have you lost your mind? The man next to Lily grimaced and attempted to make a move on me. I reddened my eyes, snapping the cup in his face. It hit his nose, nosebleed everywhere, and it hurt so much that he had tears in his eyes. Bunch of stupid dogs. I won't play with you anymore. I grabbed my bag and was about to leave. Ethan chased after me and held my hand. Emily, you have to apologize to them today. Or else, how will you get along with them when we get married? I'll get along with them. I slapped Ethan in the face and asked him, why don't you go live with them if you care so much about them? Not to mention that I'm not going to marry Ethan. And even if I did, what would those people be? You're being ridiculous. You're coming back with me right now. Lily, who came out after us, tried to pull us apart. Brother Sheening. This is all my fault. Don't argue with Emily. I don't know who pushed her. Lily fell on the ground, rubbing her palms. Her face turned white with pain. Seeing that she was hurt, Ethan couldn't think of anything else and panicked to check Lily's condition. I'm fine. I just don't want you guys to fight over me. Lily was so innocent looking that it was almost heartbreaking to see her cry. Ethan had never been able to let his sister shed a tear. This time, she totally hates me. Emily, if you don't apologize to you today, then I guess we don't have to get married. Threaten me with that? I can't wait. Anyway, the conversation just now was also recorded on the tape. Ethan elbowed his way out and helped an outsider to force me to apologize. And the recording was sent out. So it had to be his fault anyways. I didn't bother to talk to these two people and turned around, ready to leave. Ethan stopped me. In the middle of the argument, someone pushed him away with force. Ethan staggered back, his brow furrowed. Who are you? I froze and looked back. Ryan was pointing at Ethan's nose with a fierce look on his face and cursing. Who, me? I'm your father. You're a big man. Can't you talk properly and have to pull at me? You look like a dog. But you're a son of a bitch. If it weren't for the security cameras here, I'd use your paw as an itchy scratch for my dog's back. Big Brother scolded people without even taking a breath. I can't imagine that Big Brother not only has a good heart, but also has a good mouth. Ethan's face turned red when he was scolded. He didn't know how to scold. He didn't even know how to answer back. What's it to you about me and my girlfriend? Ryan stared. glancing at Ethan and then at Lily, who was sitting on the floor, nodding his head back and forth. Well, so you're the scumbag who threw my sweetie to the curb for mistress the other night. My eyes have always been very accurate in reading people. I knew at a glance that you were having an affair with this little phony, and came to hobnob on other good sweetie. What era is this? What? You still want to have a concubine? Lily had never been talked to like that before, and her face was no better than Ethan's. She said, "What are you talking about?" Ryan glanced at her coldly. "Even if you're like this, you'd smell like dragon wells. So don't go there and take advantage of it," he said. He wrapped his arms around my shoulders and shielded me. Ethan saw this and held back his anger and reached out to me. "Emily, come here." Ryan opened his mouth with a combination of punches. "Come on. Danger. How much of an officer are you? If I hadn't passed by that night and sent her back, she'd probably be on the criminal news right now. But you're doing fine. You're having a good time with your mistress. And your girlfriend is freezing her ass off in my car while it's nice and warm." Ethan's height of 183 is not short, but compared to Ryan, he is still half a head shorter. With Ryan's sinewy body, he was tall and strong, and he was a real threat. He looked fierce, but he gave people a sense of security. I didn't cry when Ethan's friends ganged up on me. I didn't cry when he stood up to Lily and forced me to apologize. The grievances in my heart were suddenly told in one breath. Now that someone was in charge. I couldn't stand it for a second and couldn't stop crying. Ryan is good at cursing, but he doesn't know how to coax people. Seeing me cry, he panicked again, stuttering for half a day. Finally, he bent down and whispered in my ear, "Sweetie, don't cry. I'll find someone to beat him up later." The tears came to an abrupt end. I was so sad. But he made me laugh all of a sudden. "It's against the law to beat someone up." He scowled at me. "It's okay. I'll do it secretly. I won't get caught." The way we were talking and laughing stung Ethan's eyes. "Emily, don't forget, we're engaged." He was a disguised reminder for me not to get too close to other men. But, Ethan, who are you to tell me what to do if you can't do it yourself? Ryan cheered me on. "You hear me? My sweetie said it. You're in no position to control her." He took me and left, but didn't forget to tell them, "Take your mistress to the hospital. She'll be healed soon." The ride in Ryan's car was awkward. I nervously pinched my fingers. "From now on, don't call me sweetie. Just call me Emily." He agreed. "Okay, but don't call me Big Brother. It's too old. I'm not even 30. I smiled shyly. "You're not from around here, are you?" He nodded. "I'm from around here, but I'm not from around here." He nodded. "Foreign. Come here to do business. There are a few farms and a few mines in my hometown, and there are a few companies in your area." He quickly explained. "I'm not a foreigner." He also quickly explained. "I'm not showing off my wealth. I'm saying that my brother has the strength. In the future, you have suffered despite the wrongs to look for me. Big Brother is fierce, but Big Brother will love people. Why are you helping me? You're a delicate girl. It's sad that you're being bullied. It hurts me to see you." When he said this, his ears turned red and his voice lowered. I turned my head and looked out the window without saying anything. Petite little girl. Just smashed people's nosebleeds out. When I got back, I sent the recording of last night to my parents and Ethan's parents. and brought up the matter of breaking off the engagement. I packed up all the things Ethan left at my house and had them sent back to him. My dad was so angry that he wanted to beat him up. I stopped him. No need. Someone else has already beaten him up. This morning Ethan's friend called me. He said that Ethan was beaten up last night and is still in the hospital. He was not arrested and asked me to go and see him. I don't need to see him. Dead instead can follow 200. When I refused. He said angrily that I was cold-blooded and didn't even care about my own boyfriend. Yes, I am cold-blooded. Just go to the police and arrest me as a bad woman. The other party was dumbfounded. When the news of break off the engagement went out, Ethan's parents couldn't sit still and immediately came to my house. Instead of staying, they apologized. It's us who didn't teach him well. You've done a good job in this case. Well, give your family an explanation. Ethan called me and I didn't answer. Sent me WeChat. I don't have so much energy to coax you. As a result, after knowing that I came to really, my own parents informed the relatives who had long gotten the invitations of the news of break off the engagement. The first thing I did was to get out of the hospital with a limp. Ryan found someone to beat him pretty hard. Stumbled to my door. Beaten black and blue look inexplicably joyful. He was very angry about breaking off the engagement. Do you have to be like this? I'm not sure what I'm talking about. But I'm not sure what I'm talking about. He said, if Xiaoya and I really had anything, why would I be with you? His attitude was disgusting. I coldly watched him get annoyed. You don't have to explain too much to me. We're already over. As for before, consider me blind. He finally reddened his eyes. His anger is no longer. The whole person is shaking. You don't want me anymore? Do not want him? No. He never belonged to me. I just gave up on him. When that let me love at first sight youthful and sincere person has long gone. When I was in college, if I said I wanted to eat chestnut cake from my hometown, he would take the 2-hour high-speed train to buy it back for me. When I had a hard time with my period and my hands and feet were cold, he would put my feet on his stomach and take care of me day and night. My kitten was sick and died. I cried so much I couldn't breathe. He took me with him to cremate the kitten and customized a 1-to-1 simulation doll for me. Because he was nice as a teenager. That's why I gave the grown-up him many chances. Until my love was worn out a little by him. Finally realized that I was the only one who had the greatest illusions about the relationship. He couldn't see his heart. He may have a soft heart. Or he may have enjoyed 2 women fighting over him. But wandering is his original sin. I never said that. In fact, I've seen Lily confess her love for him. The little girl burst into tears and grabbed his hand and wouldn't let go. I don't believe you don't have feelings for me. If you don't like me, why are you being nice to me? Ethan's answer is cruel. I just treat you as my sister. Lily broke down. I don't want to be your sister. She stood on her tiptoes and kissed him. Ethan didn't duck first. Even the force used to push her away was careful. He said, I can't apologize to Emily. Let's just forget about today. I especially wanted to ask him, at that time, whether he regretted agreeing to my advances on impulse. But there's no point in asking that now. Go away. Don't ever come back to me again. The way you pretend to be deeply in love is simply disgusting. Ethan's face instantly paled and tears came to his eyes. I'm wrong. I'll never go looking for her again. Let's be good together. Don't leave me. He was sobbing uncontrollably, his hands and feet looking like he really regretted it. He was finally able to choose between Lily and me. But I don't care anymore. Ethan's parents were so ashamed of him that they took him back by force. He didn't come back to me for a long time after that. And I blocked out all his contacts. Lucy's charity work is going well, and she's out and about every day. After dealing with my emotional problems, I would go to the orphanage to do volunteer work when I had time. It was here that I met Ryan again. The man who was so fierce that night was so gentle with the children. The children loved him and called him Uncle. Ryan smiled and handed out candies to each of them. When he saw me, he handed me one. "Do you want one?" I took the candy and asked him with a smile, "Do you come here every month?" He nodded. "Every week. These kids are so sad." His eyes were complicated and pained. Later, I learned from Lucy that Ryan had paid for the construction of the orphanage. Mr. Pay is a good man. If it wasn't for him, I would have gone to work for charity. Lucy always praised Ryan and said she would send him a banner. She also said that he had a wall full of them in his office, so it would be better to send him trophies. We took care of the kids at the orphanage together, added contact information, and saw each other more and more often. Ryan helped me a lot. I wanted to invite him to dinner, and this time he didn't refuse. The big boss, who was worth a lot of money, chose a barbecue stall in the night market. A bottle of $20 Ergo 2 went down, and he was more energetic. Seeing him drinking so easily, I wanted to try it too. Ryan didn't stop me and actively poured me 2 tails. Men and women drink there. I tasted it, and it was so spicy that my face turned red, and I poured the drink furiously. Ryan laughed his ass off. I didn't give in and drank it all over the barbecue. In the end, I was so drunk that I talked nonsense and refused to go home or leave. Ryan had no choice but to put me on his back and walk slowly down the street. I was crying so hard. I don't understand why he did this to me. Why can't a person have just one person in their heart? Ryan listened patiently to my drunken rage and comforted me softly. People have to meet more or less a few scumbags in their lives. Like me. My parents divorced when I was born and didn't want me. So my grandparents raised me through odd jobs at construction sites. When they got too old to do the heavy work, I did all the work around the house. One winter, when I couldn't pay the heating bill, I found the old man dead in his bed the next morning. When I was 16, I came out to work, going to make a lot of money to give my nanny a better life. But before I could enjoy a few days of happiness, the little old lady was gone. Those 2 unlucky bastards came back to recognize me when they knew I was making a lot of money, just because they wanted me to pay for their old age. Ryan's back was wide and steady, very warm. I slowly quieted down and asked him, "What happened after that?" He laughed and gritted his teeth. "I skinned them and fed them to the tigers in the mountains." "Really?" "False. I told them to get lost or I'd kill them. I told them to go away or I'd kill them. They're just wimps. Just a few tricks to get rid of them." Even though I couldn't see his face, I could hear his despondency. I hugged his neck tightly and rested on his shoulder. The streetlight stretched our shadows, and I said in a daze, "Ryan, can you catch a shadow?" Ryan smugly said, "Try me." He carried me on his back, and I laughed on his back. The road ahead was bright. A friend who works at the hospital told me she saw Ethan. I heard he was checking something out and left with a hard look on his face. If he's going to the hospital, there has to be a reason. I was hoping it was his serious illness notice, but it didn't work out the way I hoped. What Ethan wanted to check was Lily's medical records. Lily didn't have clinical depression at all, so how could there be a record of it in the hospital? As I said before, he was sure it was a false accusation of jealousy when he could have easily found out. Now that we've broken up, he's thinking of checking it out. When I got home at night, Ethan was standing downstairs in my house. The weather was getting colder and colder, and the night was chilly. The watery glint in his eyes when he looked over at me reminded me of the night he left me behind. His injuries had healed, and the way he smiled at me as he stood under the streetlight was bitter and far-fetched. These past few days I've been thinking about why I did that to you in the first place. And then I thought about it. It's because I was emboldened, thinking that after so many years of relationship, no matter what I did to you, if I coaxed you, you would forgive me. Lily grew up with divorced parents and no one to take care of her. My parents took care of her and asked me to take care of her too. When I first met her, she was 5 years old, skinny and small, and timidly called me brother. I felt sorry for her, so I kept her with me and treated her like my own sister. My friends tried to set me up with Lily, so they were always upset with you. I wanted them to accept you, but forgot to consider your feelings. His voice trembled. Emily, I was wrong. I frowned, interrupting his deep emotion. So you stood downstairs at my house all night just to tell me about your love/hate relationship with Lily? He panicked, moving closer to me and carefully keeping his distance. No, He couldn't get a complete sentence out, and something quietly shattered as he met my cold stare. Lily's not even sick. She's lying to me. After a pause, he asked me, "Can you give me another chance? This time it's my turn to pursue you." Before I could reject him, someone behind me called out to me, "Emily." I turned around and Ryan was striding towards me with 2 large geese in his hands. These are the geese I had someone bring over from my old farm. They grew up eating grain. It'll make you hearty stew when it gets cold. After saying that, he noticed Ethan and wrinkled his eyebrows with puzzled eyes. "Why are you so gloomy?" He also asked me, "Is he here to harass you?" Ryan raised his hand and looked like he was going to swing him with a goose at any moment. "If you dare to make a move on her, do you believe I'll cut you?" The serious atmosphere was ruined by him. I can't help but laugh every time he shows up. Ryan and Ethan. It's a different picture. Ethan looked at me with a bloodless face. "Emily, how did he know you lived here? What do you care how I know? Don't pry into things you shouldn't ask." This wasn't the first time Ryan had come to my house. The last time I was drunk, he brought me home. I bought my own place, so it's easier for my friends to come over sometimes. Ryan put on his apron and started cooking in the kitchen. I couldn't help but marvel. I didn't realize you were so kind and rich and so good at cooking. He was embarrassed by my compliment. Usually such a big-hearted person, but now he couldn't speak. His face and ears were red. "Why does your mouth sound so good? Are you trying to coax me into cooking more meals for you?" I smiled as I stood guard next to him and tilted my head. "May I have the honor?" He glanced at me. "I only cook for my grandparents and my wife and children." I blushed and fled. That's why I didn't see it. After I left, Ryan sighed heavily, holding back the bruises on his neck. As winter set in, Ryan said he was going to take a trip back to his hometown. We're nationally known for our snow there. I'll be your tour guide if you want to go. I asked him, "Can I still eat your hearty stew then?" He was so angry that he turned red. "I'd be happy to eat hearty stew. Not to mention hearty stew. Although my family is not as rich as Ethan's, At least it is not a problem for me to be well-fed and clothed for the rest of my life. My mom said it was fine if I didn't work, so I could relax. I followed Ryan back to his hometown, and as soon as I got off the plane, he took off his scarf and tied it around my neck. Be careful you don't freeze. He bent over and moved carefully. The scarf was still warm and lightly scented by him. My face burned a little, and I didn't dare to look up at him. What about you? He patted his chest. I'm in better shape than you. Over the past few days, Ryan has accompanied me on skiing trips, boat rides, snowball fights, and to his house, where he ate his goose. Ryan is very down-to-earth. He doesn't have a big boss attitude. He is easygoing and generous, and I am very relaxed and happy with him. When I talked to Lucy, she told me that Lily and Ethan had a falling out. Lily used suicide to force Ethan to meet her. Ethan wouldn't take it anymore, so Lily did it for real. And if she hadn't found out in time, she would have died at home. And she's still lying in the hospital. In the meantime, Ethan called me from an unknown number. I was having dinner with Ryan. When I heard his voice, I subconsciously glanced at Ryan and went to the balcony. Are you with him? His voice was bitter, but I didn't feel like I had to explain myself to him. It's none of your business who I'm with, and I hope you'll leave me alone from now on. Ethan was reluctant. He's a guy who didn't even graduate high school. You won't have anything in common with him. Maybe you're keeping it fresh with him now, and you're with him on a whim. But when your passion passes, you'll realize you're not in the same world as him. I was silent for a few seconds, and as if he saw hope, his tone softened. I'm not preaching to you. I'm just trying to get you to wake up. Ethan, I said, do you think anyone is a scumbag like you? Hanging up the phone back in the house. Ryan, without looking up, plopped the pot of cooked beef into my bowl. Did he call you? Ryan's voice stiffened and I nodded. Only then did I realize my bowl was piled high with his food. Enough is enough. I can't finish it. Ryan paused in midair and put the food in his bowl. He buried his head in his food and didn't say a word. I could tell he wasn't in a good mood. What's wrong with you? He looked up at me, wanting to say something, and finally shook his head. Nothing. He passed the food to his mouth and put it back in the bowl. He asked you to get back together? What do you think? I'm telling you, all men are like this. You can't be soft, or you'll be worse off if you give him an inch in the future. Of course, I'm not like that. The more he talked, the more confused he became. And in the end, he couldn't even tell himself. After a moment of silence, he suddenly asked me, Emily, what do you think our relationship is now? I knew Ryan was definitely interested in me. I'm a normal person. After being together for so long, there was no way I didn't have feelings for him, but I teased him. Friends. Friends? Just friends? His eyes widened in disbelief. Finally, he turned off the engine in aggravation. Okay. He drove me back to the hotel with a heavy heart. Before he left, he told me to keep the doors and windows closed and not to open them to strangers. I had enough of teasing him, so I just took a shower and wanted to send him a message to express my love. But he called me. As soon as I picked up the phone, I heard him drunkenly blabbering on the other end. My grandpa says it's bad luck to be bad to your wife. But I don't have a wife. I don't have a wife. I'm so pathetic. We're having an affair. And you still think of me as a friend. Boyfriend? I didn't realize he was drunk. How much did he drink? I resisted the urge to laugh. Good. He froze. What? Ryan's drink snapped out of it. Holy crap. You didn't lie to me, did you? There's no use regretting it. I heard it all. I'm coming to get you. Ryan knocked on my door less than 10 minutes after the phone hung up. How did you get here so fast? He was breathing heavily, his eyes glowing. I'm downstairs at the hotel. He stepped closer to me, cautiously. So, does what you just said still count? I smiled and gently took his hand. I'm a man of my word. Ryan was dumbfounded for a long time. He sniffled, and at 6'9", he daintily wept on my shoulder. Son of a bitch. I thought you really thought I was your friend. I buried my face in his pecs. So big. So soft. Emily's tits. Ryan came home with me to meet my parents with gifts. He's got a lot of money. Almost $1 million in gifts. Ethan says he's uneducated. Big Brother's uneducated. But Big Brother's got the right perspective. He knows how to love someone. He knows how to love a person. Where there's money, there's love. My parents are much happier with Ryan than with Ethan. Ryan knocked my dad out at the dinner table. And he was pretty drunk too. They put him to bed in my room. And he knew to take his clothes off. You're going to get your bed dirty later. I touched his hot face. I don't mind you. He closed his eyes and giggled, tears glistening at the corners of his eyes. Grandpa, Grandma, your big grandson has done well, made money, and found a daughter-in-law. When I heard from Ethan a few months later, he was not doing well. His ghost friends who were not happy with me because of Lily's suicide started to transfer their grievances against me to Ethan. They said if Ethan hadn't wanted to be with me in the first place, Lily wouldn't have been so stupid and moralizing that he had to be with Lily. Ethan was forced to break it off with them. And behind his back, they called him a double-crossing scumbag. Lily has been in love with Ethan for so many years. She can't let go easily. She's been pestering Ethan like crazy. It's not easy for anyone to see them getting into each other's business. I was relieved. After the new year, I followed Ryan to his grandparents' grave. In front of his grandparents, Ryan got down on his knees and swore, if I ever do anything wrong to Emily, I'll die a horrible death. I twisted his arm and glared at him. You can't say such unlucky things in the first month. He held my face and kissed me hard. Emily, I love you. The sunlight poured on the newborn grass buds, green and lush. I held his hand and watched the passion and sincerity in his eyes. I knew that I deserved to be loved like no other.